lecture is entitled Research Metrics Based on Quantitative Methods. Why do people research? At philosophical level and in a broad sense, the main purpose of research is to push back the boundaries of knowledge and to identify the gaps in existing knowledge. When Albert Einstein presented his special theory of relativity in the Royal Society, it is told that a lady with a child in her arms asked what is the use of this research to the humanity. Einstein smiled and asked her, in turn, what is the use of your child? Then he continued, when a baby is to be brought up, one needs to bother whether the child will grow into a doctor or a professor or a laborer. Nobody knows its applications. So what is going to become? But the topic is, my concern is measuring of the research, but not to talk much about the research, types of the research, applied research, pure research, fundamental research, etc. etc. So directly I will go to that is the preliminary part of this this first.
Vibhuti sir, could you please mute your line?
What is research? Research is creative and systematic work undertaken to increase the stock of knowledge. Dr. S. R. Ranganathan defined the research. The research represents a critical and exhaustive investigation to discover a new facts, to interpret them in the light of known ideas, theories, and laws, to revive the current laws and theories in the light of the newly discovered facts, to apply the conclusion to practical purpose. So in short, I can say that research is carefully recorded and reported in the form of document to other persons interested in the problem to ascertain in the quality it has to be measured. Then what is this measuring, or what is matrix? Matrix is a system or standard of measurement. The purpose of matrix is to monitor and to evaluate a variety of activities, events, and phenomena, to know the strength and weakness of a particular research. In the present lecture, fully based on citation study. And as you know, in the citation study, Dr. Garfield is the pioneer. What exactly you mean a citation? A citation is the way to tell the readers that previous research document we used in the research report. Then what exactly the research productivity? The research productivity in the sense a particular scholar, whatever is communicating his ideas through article or book or any forms of the document. The universities and colleges are the largest performing sectors of science and technology in the country. Universities are undertaken the basic research mainly to support and advance their academic programs at the undergraduate, postgraduate, and doctoral levels. Funded by the University Grants Commission, that is the UGC, Ministry of Human Resource Development, MHRD, and all India Council of Technical Education, AICTE, depending upon their status as government aided or private institution, science and technology have played a very important role in overall development of the country. It has become a norm in scientometrics to define research productivity. And UGC has initiated the various steps for improving education at all levels. And academic ranking is gaining prominence in higher education due to the interplay between many factors. For example, shrinking resources allocation for higher education from public funds, increasing competition among higher education institutions, and the growing awareness about the value of money among the public. The stakeholders pay attention to institutional quality with one or more interest, government for accountability and policy making, funding agency for funding decisions, society for value of taxpayers' money, and industry for institutional industry partnership, prospective students for admission and career prospects, etc. Today there are over different academic ranking of the universities. US News in 1987 published its first college guide in 1987. The academic ranking of the world universities in 2007. The criticism of college and university ranking in 2007. Destler in 2008. Slide and Prejudice, that the Jombor in 2009. EU Observer Helena in 2010. Nelson Survey of India and India Today in Outlook, UGC, MHRD under National Institutional Ranking Framework. So there are so many institutions are taking part of it. I hope you have seen the latest ranking of the University of NIRF 2020. That is how it is ranking. IISc is number 1, JNU is number 2, and BHU is number 3. And again, they are making a general ranking, and also that is IITY is research institute, and universities. Like different types of the ranking also they have been undertaken. Though many of them are claiming that University of Mysore is within the 100, and even the Gulbarga University is also claiming that within the 100, and Central University of Gulbarga University is also claiming that they are within the 100. So that this what I mean to say is because their research output plus other things have been properly measured and they have been ranked. That ranking is nothing but it shows the standard of a particular university in its scientific productivity. Hence, there is a need for research matrix for everyone in the maybe in India, in the elsewhere. There are several tools to evaluate the individual institutions and university research. Quantitative method is one of them. It is based on written communicated literature. Then what exactly you mean by quantitative methods? Library and information managers have adopted a number of quantitative methods in recent years based on citation analysis to evaluate scientific productivity, library resources and services more objectively and effectively through quantitative techniques to applicable to measure the records of human communication. Over the years, several new terms have appeared on the end and information science horizon representing quantitative studies in library and information science, namely librometrics, bibliometrics, informatics, scientometrics, webometrics, art matrix, no matrix, or knowledge matrix. When you think about the Libra matrix, I want to talk a little about Dr. Ranganathan. Dr. Ranganathan was chairing one of the session in ASLIPS in 1948 in the Leamington Spa. He was talking something about library and information science. And one of the delegates asked Dr. Ranganathan, Professor, in most of the lieu of the sciences, most of the social science also going for the hard sciences, and they are following mathematics and statistical application for their research work. So what about library science? Ranganathan immediately answered that, why not? We can call it as a Libra matrix. So Ranganathan gave their only, that is a structure for the Libra matrix. Then when he came back to India in the yearly seminar of DRTC, he gave all the aspects of Libra matrix. Those who are interested, you can refer to that special volume of Libra matrix published in the DRTC. Then the next one is bibliomatrix. It is a Greek word. The biblio means that is a book, and matrix is again the measurement. That is a term coined by Pritchard in 1969. So it is the quantitative analysis of research literature based upon citations and can be used to evaluate the impact on the academic community of a research paper, an individual researcher, a research group or institution or a journal. So wherever you want, whatever you want, for that you can apply this metric studies. Then comes the scientometrics. That is a measuring of the sciences. Science and metrics. It is nothing but the science measuring or measuring of the science. So Price told of or defined in 1979, scientometrics is the Russian originated term for the application of quantitative methods to the history of science and measuring of science and technology literature. Scientometrics is now considered as a part of the sociology of science and is applied to science policy making. Thus, scientometrics involve studies in sociology of science, history of science, growth of literature, behavior of scientists, science indicators, etc. So, in short, scientometrics is again similar to the Librometrics and the bibliometrics, but it is more Europeans want to call it the scientometrics because it is Disola Price and others have contributed much to this word scientometrics. Even the scientometric journal is also most popular, so they want to stick to this word scientometrics. Then Brooks in 1990 suggested the word informatics because most of us now we are talking about earlier we used to talk about book, then document, then now information. So instead of that bibliometrics, we can say informatics, means the measuring any type of the information, even a small piece of the information and its worth we can measure. The application of a informatics study may be used for variety of measures to study analyze several properties of information in general and documents in particular. The study of the quantitative aspects of information in any form, not just records or bibliographies. What you observed in the previous four metrics, they are based on written communication. Due to information communication technology, documents are available in a different forms. Hence, the World Wide Web, WWW, has been emerged. Along with it, you know that how internet is popularized. So that is why the boss or Bossy in 1995, he proposed the word webometrics. So we can call it as a webometrics, that is measuring of the World Wide Web. So even apart from the webometrics, there are many other words also or concepts have been emerged, like cybermetrics, netometrics, etc. The science of webometrics or cybermetrics tries to measure the World Wide Web to get knowledge about the number and types of hyperlinks, structure of the World Wide Web, and usage patterns, etc. So that what exactly you want to measure about the information which is available in the web, you can say that, or we can say that it is a webometrics study. Means simply we should not accept everything which is available on the web. We have to properly measure it, and we have to come to the conclusion that whether it is useful from the point of view of our users or not, or that research or scientific productivity is useful or not, that we have to judge. Then next comes art metrics. That is Pivovar is the pioneer of the art metrics. He proposed it in 2013. It is the latest one. It is a alternative metrics. It is a alternative metrics to the previous one. Maybe librometrics, bibliometrics, scientometrics, informametrics, or webometrics, cybermetrics, or netometrics. This art metrics is an alternative metrics, refers to different ways of measuring the use of and impact of scholarship, rather than solely measuring the number of times a work is cited in scholarly literature. Art metrics aims to capture the more complete picture of scholarly impact by counting and analyzing the usage of more recent avenues of scholarly communication with the help of the Facebooks, Twitter, blogs, wikis, social bookmark, YouTube. So there are many things, social bookmark, then the various other examples like Reddit and holdings in literary collections. So the many other things are there. Accordingly, we have to measure. Additionally, art metrics can be used to understand the research impact of scholarly works that aren't traditionally captured through citation counts, such as figures and images, reports, data sets, books and book chapters, proceedings, presentation, and slides. So all these things can be measured with the help of this art metrics. And even there are several methods are also available for the measuring of similar data on the web. Then next comes Dr. Wu, the director of WISE Lab. That is, WISE means webometrics, informametrics, scientometrics, econometrics. He is the director for the laboratory in the Wuhan University. That is a separate laboratory has been established for the study of the knowledge metrics. Knowledge metrics, or in short, they call it nometrics. Knowledge metrics or nometrics. Knowledge metrology is an interdisciplinary integrated research topic. Knowledge metrology is a scientific evaluation of Wuhan University, China, research center in bibliometrics, information metrology, scientific metrology, network metrology, etc. As you know that today all of us are most of us are aware about the Wuhan and because of our COVID-19 and really it is the beautiful place and even the where even I was there in the international conference in that conference of the coordinate who presented this nometrics. But even though many of the scholars or scientists in the field of scientometrics objected, already many words are existed. Why you want to add the additional one knowledge metrics or nometrics? Then no, here who are even Chinese didn't agree that no, we want to have our own concept and we want to call it nometrics. So then they didn't even accept others' views also regarding this. They stick to this word nometrics. Now, many of the articles have been published by who in the in this in nometrics. It studies the whole human knowledge system as a research object and study the social ability of knowledge and the social relationship of knowledge through the quantitative analysis. Then empirical laws. So what actually I spoke of all the metric studies. Even the metric studies also has empirical laws, specifically what we call it bibliometric laws. Laws derived through assumption that we can call it as a empirical laws. So the most of the social science subject are having its own law. Even specifically economics, it is having its own assumption and it has formed several laws. We call it empirical laws. Well, normally, empirical laws derived from experience or experiment. It's depending upon experience or observation alone without using scientific method or theory and having limitations. Variably by experience or experiment. There are three laws already well established, and we can call these things as a backbone for the bibliometric studies. The first one, the Bradford's law of scattering, means given by the Bradford. Actually, he specifically mentioned that decreasing productivity of journals. So the research scholar need not refer all the journals, whatever available in the library or elsewhere in the world, but he has to, or one has to go through what are the core journals. So what are the umbrella journals for his research work? And he mentions some three zones: first zone, second zone, and third zone. And even who are much interested, so there is a big studies there on Bradford law of scattering and zones and its formula, and you can study in detail about it. But specifically, we can use that only a few, hardly few journals will give you much of the input or much of the references for your research work. Next comes the Lotka's law. It is describes the frequency of publication by the authors. Normally, everyone beginning they will write one article or two articles, then they will stop. But only hardly few research scholars, only the few scientists will write more and more number of the articles. They will write even 100 or even more. N. So that what it shows that hardly few people will give the or write or give intellectual or scientific productivity, but not more. These three, Gibbs law helps measure the richness of vocabulary of an author. Gibbs Watt is a linguistics scientist. He measured that a research document or a document normally covers or concentrate only on few words so that those words can be ranked, and those ranks may be ranked, and those will be useful from the point of view of the indexing for that research work or constructing the thesaurus or a dictionary or any type of the ontology or any other things. Even you can predict the particular author for a previous or a classical documents of the Vedic age also. You can go to that extent. Even for this, we can add Pareto's 80-20 rules also. And economics, in the economics, what we study, marginal diminishing utility also, we can add to this empirical laws for the bibliometrics, and we can make use of these things also. So these laws, the bibliometrics, and each of these distribution was empirically derived. The distribution are similar to each other as special cases of a hyperbolic distribution. Simply, tests do not explain the reasons, but research is all about cause and effect based on reasoning. Hence, statistical tests should be considered as indicators so that looking into the table or graphs, mere calculations, you will not get a result or good indicators. But you have to go through the table, you have to put a logic and what could be the reason for the even there may be separate the periods may be there to collect the data, etc. With the help of that, you can give the inferences, or you can derive the inferences, and you can give your own indicators. These are based on in the light of logic, ethics, particularly, and other accepted facts in the subject. So generally, these laws will be useful. Otherwise, it will for die. And another important matrix to measure the journal is impact factors. So already you are aware about the impact factor. Even Dr. Kannan also mentioned about it. So I'm not going to talk much about it. Simply, I will mention here what exactly it is there. The number of scientific journals has become so large that individuals, institutions, and institutional libraries cannot completely store their physical content. In order to prioritize the choice of quality information sources, librarians and scientists are in need of reliable decisions or aids or even tools. The impact factor is the most commonly used assessment aid or tool for deciding which journals should receive a scholarly attention from the research readership. When you think about the impact factor, the credit goes to Eugene Garfield and his innovations. In the beginning, during the late 1950s, it was just an innocent idea in Eugene Garfield's head. A Philadelphia researcher who described himself as a documentation consultant and spent his free time thinking about scientific literature and how to mine information from it. He eventually dreamed of something he called an impact factor. He has developed this artificial tool searching the literature, which is a simple idea of using reference citations. He conceived and launched Science Citation Index. In short, we call it SCI, even Social Science Citation Index and Humanities Index. And even the popular alerting service database also he created, and he called it current contents. And for all these things, the ISI, that is the Institute for Scientific Information, is the main organization to work on these things. The journal impact factor is currently calculated by Thomson ISI for all journals contained in the SCI database. Then the reported in the journal citation reports JCR database. Currently, there are 11,877 world leading scientific journals are included in the SCI database. Even more journals are tracked, which means they are monitored but not being assigned an impact factor yet. How actually we have to calculate impact factor? We need not calculate because already it is available. But how they are calculating, just I will tell little about it. The impact factor is a measure of the relative size of the citation curve in year 2 and 3. It is calculated by dividing the number of current citations a journal receives to articles published in the 2 previous years by the number of articles published in those same years. So, for example, the 1999 impact factor is the citation in 1999 to articles published in 1997 and 1998 divided by the number of articles published in 1997 and 1998. The number that results can be thought of as the average number of citations the average article receives per annum in the 2 years after the publication year. This just you can see this formula. All citation in Y, IF is equal to all citation Y to articles in A during. So just you can read this formula, and I can just analyze like this with one example. New England Journal of Medicine published 366 citable articles in 2003 and 378 citable articles in 2002 citations in 2004. To any articles published in 2003 and 2002 are 14,147 and 14,549 respectively. So we can put like this. Impact factor is equal to the same figures what I have been added here. So we get the result. The impact factor of a journal is 38.6. So the higher the impact factor of the journal, the standard of the journals will be more. For example, in the world, Nature is having a highest impact factor. Most of the Indian journals are having a lower impact factors. So most of our learned or noted scientists published their research work in the international journals. Those who are having that is a more number or a highest number of the impact factor of the journal. So that it is one of the best metrics tool to measure the research or a scientific productivity. Means if the person or if the scientist is publishing his articles in the highly impact factor journal, we can rate him as a standard article, as a standard research, and we can say that he is a potential research worker or a potential research, what it indicates. Another tool that is H index. It is a tool to measure individual scientist or a scientific productivity. It is given by George E. Hirsch, professor of physics at the University of California, San Diego, published an article describing the H index, which he called a useful index to characterize the scientific output of the researcher. Hirsch in 2005 proposes a scholar index an original simple new indicator to characterize the cumulative impact of the research work in individual scientists. It is the highest number of publication of the scientist that receives the highest H or more citation. The H index that attempts to measure both the scientific productivity and the apparent scientific impact of a scientist. The index is based on the set of scientists' most cited papers and the number of citations that they have received in other people's publications. H index eliminates the disadvantages of considering only single number criteria such as total number of papers or number of significant papers, etc. H index is proportional to academic age of the researchers. For example, if a scientist has written 50 papers, 30 of which have achieved 30 or more citations, his or her H index is 30. Therefore, the H index of an individual scientist is defined as the number of his/her publications cited more than H times is scientific literature. So that when the person is having a higher the H index, so that we can say that is the good researcher or a best researcher, what we can say or what we can measure his research work. Site score matrix. Site score matrix was produced by Scopus in December 2016, and we can easily replicate it via Scopus database, which measures the impact of thousands of journals by calculating the average number of citations per article over a 3-year period, can help researchers determine which journals they should publish. Then Google Scholar, already Dr. Kannan told much about the Google Scholar, how actually they are calculating their H index or I index for their research scholars in his organization. It is a freely accessible web search engine that indexes the full text or metadata of scholarly literature across an array of publishing formats and disciplines. Google Scholar Index includes most peer-reviewed online academic journals and books, conference papers, thesis, and dissertation, preprints, abstract, technical reports, and other scholarly literature, including court opinion and patents. It gives H index and even I index also. So in short, I can say that what metrics you have seen the previously, those will take sometimes years together to cite their article or document. But whereas in the Google Scholar, you may within 1 or 2 days your article or your scientific productivity may be cited, so that your appearance or you will be visible in the scientific world immediately. Other tools and methods of the scientific, well, simply I will mention here. I'm not going to go in detail about each one. Growth models and doubling time. It is in the growth models, there are many models are there, like exponential model, linear model, power model, logistic are applied to access the growth. So that to measuring the literature of a particular subject, we can see the growth models, and accordingly we can say that how the growth of a particular subject is. So nowadays even in the TV also about COVID-19, all the way they are talking about doubling time. So that even in the earlier, all these days we are talking about these things in the doubling of the literature in the specific subject or in a specific period, that also studied much in the field of scientometrics. Then activity index, it is implies the relative research efforts of a country devotes to a given subject. Means what exactly the country is contributing and how it is progressing, and what is the subject or what subject it is giving the priority, and who is the highly productive author, and who is the or what is the highly productive the country. So many things we can measure with the help of this activity index about a country or a continent or about the world. Immediacy index. The immediacy index is the average number of times an article is cited in the year it is published. It indicates how quickly articles in a journals are cited. So the many of the research scholars articles will not be cited even 10 or more years also. So like that, if the article is we can't say that it is a good article or a bad article, but we can measure that how early or immediately it article has been referred or cited or article is visible among the scientific scholars. Then self-citation of the journals and self-citation of the authors also we can measure. A self-citation is a reference to an article from the same journal. Self-citations can be make up a significant portion of the citations a journal gives and receives each year. So there is so many the complications or hurdles are there in the self citations of the author and self citations of the journal also. Even it is created much hurdles in the university ranking and even giving the H index also. So many will include self citations and many will not agree to include the self citations. So they will remove the self citations and again they will calculate the H index of a particular author or organization. And author citing his own articles, we can say self citation or a self citation of an author. Then scientific collaboration. Scientific collaboration is also equally important. Nowadays, we are talking about a team research. Earlier, we used to, more than 60% of the article used to be the single author papers. Nowadays, it is multi-authors papers are more than the single authors. So there are 2 authors, 3 authors. Now we can find up to 100 articles for a particular scientific article. And then, but how actually we can take our collaborators, maybe your own colleague, or maybe in the regional level, local level, state level, national level, or international level also, we can measure the scientific collaboration. So even in the NAC also taking importance or giving much importance for this scientific collaboration, or they are having a credits for this international collaboration. If they are having a national or international collaboration, they will get extra credits for that. Mapping of science. Mapping of science, it is a visual representation of an area, an outline of distribution of knowledge at different levels. It's simple. You can observe a Indian map represents entire territory of India. So like that, most of us, as a library and information science professionals, in particularly who are much interested in library classification, we always think about the mapping of universe of subject, Dewey Decimal Classification, how it is mapping the subject, CC colon classification, how Ranganathan mapped the entire universe of subject, how UDC has mapped its entire university, that universe of subjects. So like that, even we can mapping of this science is also equally important, so that one need not worry much about what exactly is happening, what is exactly it is about a particular topic, about a exhaustiveness of a particular subject. Looking into a particular mapping, you will be able to understand what exactly that particular subject is. Its highways and byways, everything you will be able to observe. Science and technology indicators. Science and technology indicators are the many of the scientometricians claims that science and technology indicators are not contract or abstract. They are concrete. They are concrete indicators, and they are not quantitative. It is a qualitative. So that qualitative indicators they want to give. Specifically, I want to mention here science and technology indicators. That is a Netherlands. In the Netherlands, they are having a science and technology indicators. One team is there, so they are working much on this science and technology indicators, and based on the result or the indicators will be drawn for the a particular subject or on the given field. Scientometrics portraits. Scientometric portraits, it is a study of an individual scientist. We can that is study about a Nobel laureate or a noted scientific or a scientist like from the BARC or Indian Institute of Science or TIFR or DRDO, maybe in India, but elsewhere in the world also, there are a number of scientists are already existed. So that we can take in each Nobel laureate in a particular field, you can study that what exactly the Nobel laureate has started his life in the field, and how actually he has dedicated for a particular subject, how many articles he has written, when he has written the first article, and what is his age, and what is the age of that particular that is a productive age also you can calculate, how productive he is, how many articles he has published, and again we can think about where he has published, what he has published, and so even we can compare with other Nobel laureates. Even I can give one example. Long back, Eugene Garfield, he predicted a future Nobel laureate. That article appeared in Nature. In the Nature, after some time, I don't know exactly what is the period, maybe 1 year or less than that, Nobel laureates have been, Nobel Prize has been awarded. But what Garfield has been predicted, among that, 7 scientists got Nobel laureates. So that even with the help of the prediction of the scientometrics, with the help of the scientometrics, or through Web of Science or a science citation index, you can predict the Nobel laureates or any of the future various organizations are giving the prizes. They can depend upon the ranking of the or citations of the data which are available in Scopus or a Web of Science or many other sources which are available. With the help of that, we can indicate that who is a potential author or a potential scientist who is going to get the next Nobel Prize. So that even that also even you can indicate. Even in the UGC is also nowadays asking for the young scientist award. Even I have been for me some 2 or 3 I have been referred, and for the giving the or awarding the Karnataka State Young Scientist Awards. They referred to me on the basis of the Scopus. I ranked them, and I mentioned the some 10 ranks. So among that 10, the Karnataka University scientists, 3 of them got the Young Scientist Award. So in such like this, scientometrics portraits helps for the many reasons, and specifically in India, I have to mention here. I should not forget to mention Dr. Kademani and Dr. Kalyani. They have contributed much in the field of the scientometric portrait, and even Dr. Sen also mentioned in his article that Kadimani and Kalyani are the pioneers in the field of scientometric portrait, and they are actually they have given their own methodology how we have to prepare a scientometric portrait of an individual author. So those who are interested, there are many articles are written by Dr. Kademani and Kalyani. Not only Kademani and Kalyani, there are many also, even Dr. Sham, Dr. Munoli, many others, even Dr. Sain, many scientists already, Dr. Ravichandra Rao and Russo have written about the scientometric portrait. Then there are several scientometrics related softwares are already existed in the field. A few I can mention here. The SiteSpace tool. It is a detecting and visualizing emerging trends and transit patterns in scientific literature. Copal Red, from publication, mapping, and visualization software tools, a review on ResearchGate. So making use of this thing, just you can give the your data automatically. It will map your map, and it will give a figure, and you can make use of it. Inspire, innovation in science, pursuit of for inspired research is an innovative program sponsored and managed by Department of Science and Technology for attraction of the talented of science. The Science of Science SCI tool is a modular tool specifically designed for the study of science. BibExcel is a great tool for helping with bibliometric analysis and citation studies in particular. Hostiver is a software tool for constructing and visualizing bibliometric networks. HistorySite is also more the popular software. Is a software developed to allow the users aid researcher in visualizing the results of literature searches in the Web of Science by Garfield. PageEck is a program package for analysis and visualization of large networks, and networks containing up to 1 billion varieties. The Publish or Perish latest version, a free software is available freely. Utilities program for Windows. You can go to Windows and you can download your data, and you will be able to extract the tables and figures also. Scholrometer is a social tool for citation analysis, which provides a service to scholars by. So with this, I can conclude that 3 points to keep in mind. Number 1, research metrics don't replace traditional always of assessing research impact, peer review, research funding, practical application, etc. They simply provide additional data to make impact assessments more accurate and meaningful. Research metrics must be considered in context. Any direct comparison should be made carefully. A researcher's field of study, as well as his/her career length, will greatly affect the citations and attention his or her work receives. Research metrics are not universal. They are limited to the data set from which they are drawn. Citation counts in Google Scholar and Web of Science will differ. So what I want to just in short, cannot be the result what we are getting. It cannot be generalized. For a particular, even country to country, it differs. Subject to subject, it differs. Then language to language, it differs. Even period wise also, maybe 5-year period, 10-year period, even if you take the entire period as a whole, even the measuring may be different. So even the data sources which you are using, maybe a Scopus, maybe a Web of Science, maybe a ResearchGate, or a Index Medicus, or a web, many sources are there. So it depends upon what source you are making you. Accordingly, you will be getting the result. So that it is my humble request that we should not generalize the scientometrics indicators or scientometric result. It is for individuals. It is for individual country. It is sometimes it is for individual organization. This is my humble submission to this august audience. Thank you. I especially thank Dr. Pannur. I have no words to talk about. You already know that he is the director of LIS Academy, and he is now is a big. He's a big man in India and in the international level also. He has been well established and recognized also. Along with him, I also thank profusely NCSI Foundation also for giving me this opportunity to be with you in this evening. Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. I am fortunate to hear you, sir, Sangam, sir. I also did PhD from DRTC under IK Robinson, sir. For first time, I am listening to you. It is really, sir, you have, brought from from start to the end. Nothing has left because whatever we studied, very simply you have explained. So it is really, it is learning, and I think everybody will understand whatever you said. It is very simplistically told. So thankful, sir. Thankful for this presentation, sir. So there are about 29 questions, sir, for you. But like last session, we will also take few questions. Last time I took from first, but this time I'll take from the bottom. There is one question from MP Ravi Kumar. I think
Yes.
last time also. What is the role of librarian in research metric?
Librarian, again, it depends upon how he has to take interest in the field of scientometrics. Not scientometrics. I mentioned from librometrics to knowledge metrics. Now you can go to you start from the any smallest post in the interview. You can go to Indian Institute of Science or any of the research organization. The first question will be asked, do you know scientometrics? Or do you know H index? Do you know impact factor of the journals? So these are the basic questions nowadays will be asked for every student. So that you can think that now the things are changing. So for everything will be measured. If you want to keep a piece of paper in the library, it has to be measured whether it will be useful from the point of view of the library or not. Know thy documents, know thy readers. Means you have to know your documents, you have to know your readers also. Then only you will be able to match both. So that if you are having a good scientometrics measuring with you, so that you can make anyone from librometrics to altmetrics or even nometrics also, you can make use of it and you can help him. A simple one, even if anybody want to think about a traditional library, so that how can I measure classification, cataloging, library service, and information seeking behaviors? For that also Ranganathan has given answer for every question, so that you can make librometrics and you can measure it. And like that, as per the requirement, whether the bibliometrics or a scientometric, which is suitable. So if you are more technology oriented, so that is you can make use of the webometrics. Or if you are still more, that is a social networks, if you are measuring, you can go to altmetrics and other things, so that it will play a vital role. But knowingly or unknowingly, you are making use of scientometrics, in every library. So what I feel. So
Thank you,
this is
sir.
so librarian has to play a vital role.
Thank you, sir. Actually, there is another question from Ramesh Ernagula. Can preprint article can contribute to H index of author? If yes,
So, that is no. With the Web of Science or Scopus will not accept these things. But earlier, only in the research gate, they used to take, but again, it seems now they have left it. So that it is a preprints will not be considered for the H index.
but that is but another study I found in some Nature journal.
Yes.
It says that if you publish, I mean, it is in a preprint at server, so it gives a better because they have done a study that whether putting in preprint will contribute to the improvement of H index.
For example, if international journal is there, already your article has been accepted, peer reviewed, and they will give ID number also for that. And it will be as good as already it is published. But not it is of course, it may be, we can call it as a preprint only, but still it is not appeared in the hard copy. But say if it is in the Indian Library Science Journal, if it is appearing, if they are published, so that will not be considered for the H index. It has to appear with the DOI number and it has to be there on the online, then it will be added to the H index. Otherwise, no.
Sir, another question like what metrics can be used to measure open access journals that are not indexed or listed in mainstream list?
Open access journals, you can make use of the Scientometrics or Informetrics. Or even bibliometrics. All the three I can say, maybe bibliometrics, depend upon the that is a database. Depend upon the database. Maybe bibliometrics or Scientometrics or Informetrics, but not webometrics. Because webometrics means we have to measure only which appear only in the form of the web. That you have to measure.
Vibhuti sir.
Okay, sir.
Vibhuti sir.
Sir.
There are about 11 participants who have raised their hands. Can we take one of them for talking?
Sir, please.
With permission of Sangam sir?
Yes, please. Most, it is my pleasure.
One, there is Dr. Ranjita Nalinadri Das.
Yes.
Can you ask any question, Ranjita?
Sir, question तो है नहीं, but that is the Scientometric, that is bibliometric, that is very difficult for me. Every time, whenever I am joining any webinar, hello.
I can hear.
Sir, hello.
Hello.
Sir, just now he told that whenever you go appear for any interviewer, they are asking about what is H index, everything. Definitely it is yes. For me, I am very much facing very difficulty, and that is why I am Ultrametrics. That is I am very sincerely listening to it, and that is I can say it is very much useful for me for this discussion, and I'll go for it and for the future to clarify again. My clarification will be done after listening this Sangam sir's that is lecture presentation. I am very much thankful to you, sir.
Thank you. Most welcome. You can write me, or you can email me, or even you can talk me over a phone. I can clarify anything.
Sir, Konur sir already told that will be uploaded in the site that we have download, and
if you have any problems or any queries, you can make me.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. There is one more Manoj Kumar Sahu.
Okay.
Manoj, you are available?
Thank you, Dr. Sood, for your kind words and to be with you on this evening. Dr. Sood.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you for your presentation, lecture, advice for all of us. It is learning for all of us. And with this, I thank the organizer, Konur sir, Sibram, LIS Academy, NCSI NET to moderate this session. It is really interesting, and I will remember it forever. Thank you very much, sir.